Today we're going to walk through how to install the Aftermarket Assassin's adjustable weights in a KRX 1000. We're going to need a few tools for this job. You're going to need a 17mm socket, a 12mm socket, a 10mm socket, and a 5mm Allen, along with the Aftermarket Assassin's secondary clutch expander tool to get the belt off. We're also going to need an extension and a set of snap ring pliers. I really like to use an electric ratchet as well, so you'll see me using that throughout the video as well. Although they're not required, you can get by with a regular ratchet as well. So let's get started. Alright, so the first step in installing the Aftermarket Assassin's adjustable clutch weights is going to be to remove the drive belt. To remove the belt, we're going to use the Aftermarket Assassin's secondary clutch expansion tools, which are just bolts that go into 3 holes provided in the secondary. Just thread these in there. Then we use a 17mm socket to tighten them down. I'm going to use an electric ratchet. Now we're going to tighten each one of these until they just bottom out, and then we're going to go in a sequential order to apply even pressure to the clutch. Okay, so now we've got them all tightened down. We're going to go through and tighten each one individually. Okay, so once we have sufficient pressure on the clutch, we should be able to remove the drive belt. Okay, drive belt is removed. Now the next step is going to be to remove the clutch support. So as you can see, this is an additional piece that the Kawasaki's have that supports the outside of the clutch. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our 12mm socket on an extension. We're going to take the 2 nuts off the front portion of the clutch support. You can use a pencil magnet to grab the hardware if you need to. Then we're going to switch over to our 10mm, and we're going to remove the 2 screws that are at the front or at the rear of the bracket itself. So these are long screws, as you can see. Now we're just going to slide this out and grab that bolt from earlier. We're just going to tip it forward and out. Slide it out of the way. Now we can finish removing our drive belt. Note that the writing should always be placed so that you can read it when the belt is on the machine. And now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the clutch cover, primary clutch cover. This is a 5mm Allen socket head hex screw. I usually take half the screws out first. There we go. Now we pop the cover off, and now we can move the clutch in like that. What we're after here are these weights. So once we have the cover or the outer sheave pushed in, we're going to take a pair of snap ring pliers and we're going to remove the snap ring that retains the pin. Now these are very delicate, so just open it up enough to get the snap ring off. You want to make sure you don't bend the ears on the snap ring. And then you just slide the pivot pin out while holding the weight. It's easy as that. Now this machine already has our aftermarket Assassins pins in it, so yours will be a stock weight that's not adjustable like the aftermarket Assassins are, but then you just repeat that process for the remainder of the clutch pivots. This clutch will rotate backwards only, so you can work on the next one, the next one, the next one, and then to install, just a reversal of the process that we just did. Put the weight in, slide the pin through, install our snap ring. I like to work the pin back and forth to make sure that snap ring's seated well, and then again repeat that for each of the 4 pivots or weights. Slide your sheave back out. Reinstall your cover plate. Now these cover plates have an arrow on them. And you'll line that up with the corresponding arrow on the clutches. I like to set them vertical, that way I just know that that's the way they are. And I can line everything up. Now I'm going to push this cover on, and I'm going to hold it in place while I start the screws. Now I have one screw started. I'm going to grip the cover on the bottom side so that we load it evenly and don't ruin the bushing that's in the cover. Alright. Now we're going to put the belt back on. Again, making sure that the letters are so that we can read them. Start always with the primary. Put the belt on the primary. And then we just walk the belt around the secondary. These two you can roll together. Once we have the belt on the clutches, we can go ahead and take out our spreader bolts. Now I'm just spinning this and you'll watch the belt start working its way to the outside of the sheave. There we go. Now we can install the support bracket again. And I just snug them up with the ratchet. And there you go. That's how you install the aftermarket Assassins adjustable weights and a Kawasaki KRX 1000. Thanks.